I really envy you, because I just came across another insanely intense and thrilling movie. If you finish watching it and still think it is boring, come over and slap me in the face. Oh my god, after watching this film, I finally realized how chaotic the modeling world really is. This is not just telling a movie story at all. It is clearly tearing open what hides beneath the glamorous surface of models, exposing how human nature twists when faced with desire. Just like this saying that circulates in the modeling world, fairness is a joke. The body is the real ticket. When you think you are watching a group of beautiful women fighting for dominance, you are actually watching a dark struggle about life, dignity, and survival. Alright, no more talk. Today we are going to see how these glamorous top models gradually step into a bottomless abyss for fame and fortune. Our female lead is named CA, and while she is taking an afternoon nap, she is suddenly woken up by a call from an unknown number. Still half asleep, CA picks up her phone and answers impatiently, but after greeting twice, there is no response on the other end. At first, CA thinks the caller must have dialed the wrong number, until the ringing phone wakes her up again.
여보세요.
이지은 씨,
누구세요?
사는 게 지겹지. 뭔가 흥미진진한 걸 해보고 싶지 않아?
The strange questions asked by the mysterious caller sound childish to CA, making her think there must be something wrong with his mind. Angrily, she tries to hang up, but in the very next second,
내 말이 끝나기 전에 먼저 끊으면 너도 무사하지 못해.
CA freezes completely and starts wondering who this mysterious person really is. Very soon, a sense of danger sets in, as the caller tells CA to walk into the living room right now, saying a big gift has been prepared for her there, and that so-called gift turns out to be the body of a man, which appeared in CA's home at some unknown time. With trembling legs, CA walks up to the body to check whether he is alive, only to witness a horrifying scene. The body belongs to her ex-boyfriend, whom she broke up with just days ago, and he is no longer breathing at all. CA is completely terrified. She only took a nap, yet somehow she has become a killer, and the victim is her ex-boyfriend, which makes no sense no matter how she thinks about it. At this moment, CA's phone rings again, and it is still the same mysterious caller. He sets up a game for CA, and the rules are very simple. Within 30 minutes, as long as she hides her ex-boyfriend's body, he will never contact her again. But if time runs out, the caller will report everything, and CA will truly become the one responsible for her ex-boyfriend's death. After all, the two of them broke up because of a serious conflict, so CA has a strong motive in the eyes of others. For a moment, CA is completely trapped and does not know what to do.
그 시간에 나보고 어떡하라고!
그건 당신 사정이고 내 할 바 아니지. 정확히 29분 38초 남았어.
The mysterious caller then hangs up, and with time running out, CA starts looking for something that can hold the body. She struggles to fold the body, and the sound of bones cracking echoes in the room. After forcing the body into the trunk, CA drives toward a remote and desolate area. Halfway through the drive, the mysterious caller rings again. CA realizes that continuing like this will only drag her deeper and deeper, so she decides to turn herself into the police. Unexpectedly, this does not threaten the caller at all, but instead puts her mother in danger, as he accurately states her mother's rural home address.
혼자 살고 있어서 죽이는 건 일도 아니지.
이 미친 새끼야!
그래도 성에 안 차면 그땐 네 친구들을 하나씩 죽일 거야. 아주 천천히, 고통스럽게. 죽여서 네가 자고 있는 침대 안에 넣어줄 수도 있어. 침대에서 친구 머리를 발견하면 기분이 어떨까?
CA is furious but powerless, and every word spoken by the mysterious caller feels like a sharp blade stabbing straight into her heart. He claims to be monitoring CA around the clock and orders her to throw away her other phone, warning her not to contact anyone before the task is done, or her mother's life will be in immediate danger. However, just after CA leaves, the phone she threw away is picked up by someone else. In a panic, CA arrives at an abandoned well, and to make sure everything is completely handled, she uses a heavy stone to destroy her ex-boyfriend's facial features, then uses high heat to erase all fingerprints, and throws the body into the cellar below. She believes that this terrifying game is finally over, but the mysterious caller rings again, telling her that her ID card has been stuffed into her ex-boyfriend's mouth. This drives CA nearly to a mental breakdown, and she wishes the mysterious caller would just end her suffering right now. With no other choice, CA retraces her steps and rushes back to the abandoned well without stopping. The inside is dark and eerie, filled with strange sounds, as if warning CA that once she got involved in this incident, she stepped into a bottomless pit that only leads deeper into darkness. CA slowly slides down along one side, inch by inch, and just as she is about to reach the ground, she slips and falls, badly cutting her calf. After a simple bandage, she reaches into her ex-boyfriend's throat and pulls out her ID card, now completely soaked in blood. At this moment, CA only wants to get away from this place as fast as possible, so she climbs back toward the ladder, and with every step, eerie squeaking sounds echo above her. Unfortunately, the thing she fears the most still happens, as the old ladder collapses, causing CA to fall heavily to the ground. That is right, she is trapped inside the abandoned well, like a frog stuck at the bottom, and since this place is far from civilization, it only pushes CA closer to the edge of death. Staring at her ex-boyfriend's ruined face, CA just covered it with a sack, when suddenly a backpack drops down from above, and a phone inside starts ringing non-stop. When CA takes it out, she realizes it is the mysterious caller's number.
이 미친 새끼야!
깜짝이야. 화가 많이 났어.
이제 네가 진짜로 원하는 걸 말해. 비겁하게 이러지 말고.
뭐야? 벌써 지친 거야?
Unable to understand why she is being tortured like this, CA angrily demands that he reveal his true purpose. The caller finally stops hiding and says this is a game of truth or dare, and as long as CA honestly confesses the darkest secret in her heart without lying, she will be the winner of this game. Hearing this, CA suddenly shows a strange smile, as if she has already figured out who the mysterious caller really is. The story goes back half a month earlier, when CA had her first argument with her ex-boyfriend after discovering that he was still married while dating her. She cannot accept this at all and insists on breaking up, because she does not want to destroy someone else's family. But just a few days later, the ex-boyfriend's wife shows up and harshly scolds CA, calling her shameless and accusing her of knowingly getting involved, claiming she is nothing good. Of course, CA is not someone who will stay silent, and with a gentle tone but razor-sharp words, she leaves the woman completely speechless, since CA is also a victim and has no reason to be humiliated.
받아도 그동안 내 남편이랑 놀아준 값이야. 열심히 일했는데 화대는 받아야지.
CA believes her guess is correct, but instead she is met with mocking laughter. Right after that, a black bag suddenly falls from above, nearly hitting CA. She carefully goes over to check it, and after struggling to lift the bag, the sight inside completely terrifies her, as it contains the head of her ex-boyfriend's wife. This time, CA truly realizes how terrifying the mysterious person really is.
왜 이러는 거야? 나한테 원하는 게 뭐야?
말했잖아. 네 이야기를 듣고 싶다고. 네가 숨기고 싶어하는 이야기 말이야.
왜 죽인 거야?
너도 원했잖아. 그 두 년놈이 눈앞에서 사라지게. 이제 좀 솔직해질 때도 되지 않았어?
Then, CA cannot figure out what word she has said that could cause all of this, so the mysterious person gives her a hint, telling her to open the green bag in front of her, which contains a piece of clothing CA wore 2 years ago. That memory takes place at a modeling convention, where all kinds of beautiful women gather, each one looking like a big star who steps straight out of a magazine. As a newcomer, CA stands out as especially unnoticed among them, because this is her first time entering the modeling world. At this convention, they all share one common rival, and that is Borim, because whether in height or appearance, Borim clearly stands above the rest, which naturally attracts a lot of jealousy. In the modeling world, there is also an unspoken rule. If you want to win a competition, besides having outstanding conditions, you also need to understand so-called social favors. At first, CA does not understand what this means. On the second day at the beauty competition, a male contestant gets nervous on stage and accidentally falls to the ground, and just when everyone thinks he will be eliminated because of it, the female judge unexpectedly gives him the highest score of the entire event. Later, they learn that on the night before the competition, the man had secretly visited the female judge's room. In fact, The champion has already been decided in advance, and the remaining models are merely there to go through the motions. Among this group, there is also a top authority figure, and that person is Taegu, who holds even greater power. And as long as you please him, even if you are far from perfect, he can still make you the champion. At this point, CA and Borim are tied for first place, and when the two meet in the laundry room, neither of them is willing to back down. During their conversation, Borim mentions Taegu and sarcastically tells CA to try going to Taegu's room, even suggesting that as a first-time contestant, CA might actually win the national championship. CA understands exactly what this means, clearly an insult directed at her, so she turns around and leaves the laundry room without looking back. In the blink of an eye, the next day arrives, and during the competition's intermission, a colleague suddenly reveals shocking news, saying that Borim has already found someone backing her, and that person is none other than Taegu.
지은이 너 이렇게 눈 뜨고 당할 거야? 너도 뭐든 할 수 있을 때 액션을 취해. 억울하잖아.
CA shows no interest in the method suggested by her colleague, because she believes that winning a competition through improper means is completely meaningless. Borim's actions, however, stirred dissatisfaction among the other contestants. People are often like this. Those who fail always like to stand on the moral high ground to criticize those who succeed, because only then can they find what seems like a reasonable excuse for their own failure. Unfortunately for them, the harsh words spoken behind Borim's back are overheard by Borim herself when she arrives.
들으려고 한 건 아니지만 난 언니 심정 충분히 이해해요. 뭐? 난 언니가 아무 노력 없이 불평만 한다고 생각하진 않아요. 그리고 할 수 있다면 다들 그 운이라는 걸 찾아봐요.
After hearing what Borim says in response, everyone around falls silent instantly, without even a chance to argue back. That night, as CA looks at herself in the mirror, she keeps replaying Borim's words from earlier that day, and begins to feel that they make some sense, since she has come to compete in this modeling contest. Everyone is aiming for the championship, and she does not want to leave with regret. After thinking it over again and again, CA knocks on Taegu's door.
실장님, 잠깐 시간 괜찮으세요?
무슨 일 때문에 그러는데?
저 이렇게 계속 밖에 서 있을까요?
그럼 안으로 좀 들어와.
Once inside the room, CA sits down on the sofa without explanation, saying nothing about why she is there, and instead asks the mayor to get her a bottle of beer, because drinking usually calls for something to go with it. She takes advantage of a moment when Taegu is not paying attention, shakes the beer hard, and deliberately splashes it all over herself. When CA says she wants to take a shower in his room, Taegu feels embarrassed, but before he can even respond, CA walks straight toward the bathroom, only to unexpectedly run into Borim. This scene makes Taegu burst into uncontrollable laughter. Only then does CA realize that she has fallen into a trap set by the two of them.
생각보다 별로네. 너무 티나잖아. 누가 맥주를 흔들었었다.
CA never imagines that a single moment of boldness would be exchanged for a lifetime of ridicule. She does not know how to face the two of them, so she can only leave Taegu's room in embarrassment. She sits alone in the laundry room for the entire night, watching the foam slowly turn red, as her heart sinks to the very bottom. The next day is the final round of the modeling competition, and Taegu stands on stage encouraging everyone to give it their all, because this will be the final battle. After everyone gradually leaves the venue, Borim suddenly stops CA and delivers a ruthless humiliation, acting as if victory in this competition is already guaranteed for her. That very night, Borim once again goes to Taegu's room, and as for what happens afterward, it is not something worth watching, so it is skipped. Soon, the night of the final selection arrives, and Borim steps onto the runway dressed extravagantly, filled with confidence. Everyone expects an intense battle, but halfway through the show, Borim's heel suddenly snaps, and she crashes heavily off the stage. This single accident completely ends Borim's modeling career, as she suffers a severe neck injury and a fractured ankle, nearly losing her life and condemning herself to a future of endless despair and pain. Although CA usually cannot stand Borim, as a competitor, she is the only one who goes to visit her. But seeing CA's seemingly indifferent expression makes Borim furious, because she firmly believes that CA wanted to take the championship and deliberately caused the accident. Just a few days later, unable to accept this outcome, Borim jumps from a building and ends her life. In fact, on the night before the competition, several contestants had come to CA, asking her to join their prank plan. They were all jealous of Borim, so they had tampered with Borim's high heels in advance. At first, they only wanted to make Borim embarrass herself on stage, but none of them expected it would result in a death. This incident has nothing to do with CA, because when those contestants approached her, she did not join their prank at all. It was not that CA wanted to take revenge on Borim, but that she clearly understood that even if she refused, they would still carry out the plan anyway. CA cleverly used others to achieve her own outcome. After Borim was injured, CA became the model champion of the season, and although the victory was not honorable, the title was still hers. Everyone achieved their own goals, so after discussing it together, they decided to hide the truth behind Borim's death, since only a few of them knew what really happened. As long as no one spoke up, no one else would ever know the truth. That is why when CA visited Borim in the hospital, she appeared deeply worried, yet had no way to reveal the truth at that time. Although she was not the one who directly caused the disaster, the incident weighed heavily on CA's heart, and she felt unfairly burdened with blame and deeply wronged. So 2 years later, she published a detailed personal account on social media, believing that only by telling the story could she finally find some relief. But she never considered how others might feel. So after discussing it together, they decided to take revenge on CA, which ultimately led to her falling into the abandoned well.
언니 손에 피를 묻히지 않고 누군가가 질서를 잡아주길 원했을지도 몰라요. 언니 손에 피를 묻히지 않고.
나한테 이러면 안 돼. 난 지금껏 어느 누구에게도 그 사실을 말하지 않았어.
언니는 아직까지도 솔직하지 못하네요. 언제까지 그렇게 가면을 쓰고 있을 거예요? 너무 이기적이잖아요.
As the lid of the well slowly closes, the unspoken rules of the modeling industry and the darkness of human nature continue to ferment in a hidden corner, unseen by the world. After an unknown amount of time passes, the police open the abandoned dry well and discover 2 young bodies inside. CA once believed that by not participating, she could stay safe, but she forgot that in a dark jungle, silence itself is a form of compromise, and in the end, it only leads to being swallowed by darkness. Just like the metaphor planted by the director in the film, the abandoned well that traps CA is not only a physical prison, but also a moral shackle born from silence. The broken ladder symbolizes that there is no turning back, and the repeatedly appearing high heels become a symbol of wrongdoing, serving both as a tool for models to reach glory and as a weapon turned against their own kind. With every sharp step sounding like a funeral bell for this tragedy, on the runway lies a dazzling illusion of beauty, while beneath it waits a bottomless abyss, and each of us, perhaps at some moment, has unknowingly become a silent accomplice. Maybe this is what makes the film truly chilling. Alright, that is the end of today's story, and I look forward to our next encounter.